phethe insimbi left right and center. Bethuna ndiyanibulisa nonke. Kasi uncover. Nihamba nomjekejeke. Let God. Yes. Ndicela bethuna nizazi senzoqala ngawe bhuti.
My name is Lala Skolo aka Motsoko Vandale sa tshwareng gone ke tlhaba ka mafuko ke tlhaba ka mabomo o shwe o tlhokele poloko. I am a creative writer, a poet, a musician, an activist, and anything that is alive.
Interesting.
And my name is Lee, my sunflower, the sunflower, you know what it takes. It just needs the sun and then it does what it does. That's all.
Alright, my name is Jack, the black god, the black shikwe, who do a take I found quick fast way. My other names, which I don't usually say them, once I say them, that means I'm serious. Ojoni Maboka Chaba, that's the saying. I'm a performer. I'm an actor, a theater all-rounder, a writer, a director. Anything that lives in the arts, I'm there.
Sebulela. So nena decide bandizoyi kuthiwa ngitloyitswaka ntwena because of I have abantu abenza i-podcast apha ubhuti uyacula ngapha ubhuti uya-actor actually nonke since art njengoba silapha. So I want to start with you guys because niniqale ndazini namos and then I discovered ukuthi ninekasi uncover and me coming from ekasi. I want to know what inspired you guys to come up with this and Kasi Uncovered.
Should you want to start with me?
Yes, please.
So I'll tell my side of the story.
Okay.
So there's a young lady which I met on the way. Someday I met her and Nekemuswanta with one of the girls I was mentoring in poetry.
Okay.
And I thought that young lady was the girl that I'm working with. So I ran towards her. Probably she thought I was gonna shell her.
Okay.
And then when we're busy talking, I find like, nah, she's interesting and she's speaking, you know. Then as we are walking, I'm telling her who I am and what I do. I love music. She was interested. Like, you do music. Oh, you do radio. Oh, I also love radio. I also, you know. Fast forward, the other day I'm invited to a radio station called Slee FM. Yeah, it used to operate. I used to work for the radio station before. I was a presenter there. So, but by that time now, I was invited as an artist to go present my music. When I go there, I meet that young lady. And in between that, I wasn't talking to this lady. She was angry that I forgot her name. And I'm like, what kind of a human is angry at another human for forgetting her name? Probably I thought she was psycho. Don't want to lie. I thought she had a mental issue. Then, on the day, man, she just so, like, she gave me the respect, like someone who see a potential in me and interest in this human being. And you know, as guys, we always confuse. You never know in which way does she like me. But I didn't care much because I also have seen her as someone with potential to can do some work with me. And then after that interview, I met her again when I was about to launch an EP titled Said Prayer. I launched that EP, I think it was last year, if not last of last year. And then I say to this lady, because I met her even after on some events for that radio station they used to host in our public malls. And I'm like, I saw you presenting, hosting, emceeing the events for radio station. And I feel like you can make a good MC for my launch.
Yeah.
Told her to come to my launch. She did the emceeing and it was cute, it was nice. You know, just loved looking at the little girl moving around and talking to my people and then doing her job. And then fast forward again, the very same girl one day approached me and told me that I want to do a podcast and I think you can be a good co-host. And I'm like, you know what, girl, I've done radio. And honestly speaking, the podcast I've been told so many times by people. A lot of people told me to run my own podcast. I'm like, I don't really like it, but I'll give you a chance. But you have It's like, yeah, I have someone I'm working with, and you just join us. That someone was a guy.
Yes.
He also texted me and said, yeah, I want to talk to you. When we meet, yeah, me and this girl, we want to do a podcast, and we think you can come and co-host. My job would be to operate the cameras, and you will be presenting with her. I'm like, yeah, I love presenting, and now I don't really have much to do. I'll give it a try. It was that thing, yeah, I'll give it a try. But I didn't like podcast at all. I just saw it as something that wants to copy radio. And that was it. You understand? And I didn't know that it has a history. It was there from a while. And then when we went, the first episode went well. The second one, the other guy didn't want to work.
Okay.
We were in the same WhatsApp group. And the lady was this one, Lee, my sunflower.
Oh, is the little
It's
girl.
her
Little
idea,
girl.
this whole podcast thing.
Okay.
So I was just there to help. But you see, when I see someone has a potential for something, I become more than I should be in that. So now I'm not just presenting. There's a whole lot of things I do on Kasi Uncover behind the scenes. In terms of the marketing, I'm the one who's getting guests, relevant guests for the podcast.
Yes.
I help everywhere where I can. If there's a transport issue where I can contribute and she's not in a place to do it, I want to solve that. I'm that. And that's why she mentioned that I've been a brother, and we've been like brother and sister since then. The other guy, the one he started this thing to work with, is no longer working. I'm the one who's here.
Actually,
I'm the man of the house.
Honestly speaking, I was about to say, because mina benginazi ni u3. Because when I went back to other amalins on it, about the u3. So the little girl who to be busy and fishani yellow.
Yeah, that's the girl.
That's me.
That's the girl.
He's been talking about me as if I wasn't.
Yeah. And the fact that Uti, you were irritated that he forgot your name.
Yeah, so how I met him, I think I was going to submit some assignment, something that side of the center, right? And then I bump into this guy. He asked my name. The only thing that pissed me off was that he asked for my numbers, right? He had my numbers. We were texting on WhatsApp. How the hell do you forget my
Means
name?
that he did not save your name
Njani,
at all.
Like, it didn't make sense to me.
Or
you know?
maybe it's a shorty. Manju Saba.
You understand? So it didn't make sense to me. But then I think when I met him again at the radio station, I'm like, oh, okay. Because the show that I was doing at Slee FM, I would play people's music before I could put the name to the face, you know. I knew a lot of artists from Deep Slee by the names. I knew this is good, this is good, this one is good, this one is good. But then I didn't know who.
And this one is trash.
Exactly. You know, exactly. You know, there's always those ones. So it was a thing like that. And then when I met him again, then he's like, I come and host my EP launch and the listening session, and I'm like, okay, I love this, let me go. And then I went. So back to the podcast thing. So with the podcast, how it came about was, so I love radio. I think he did mention that I love radio. And I love good story time, you know, because I'm a conversationalist. I love good conversation. When I talk to people, I'm hardly ever in a position where I meet someone. By the time I leave, I know you. I know a few things about you, you know. By the time I leave, I'm that kind of a person. So I would watch other people's podcasts and I'm like, I think I can do that, you know. I think I can do that. And also looking at where I come from in Deep Slee, if you can search now and be like Deep Slee, the first thing you're going to see, the rapist, crime,
of course,
you know, this and that. And I look at all these people that are talented, like your Lalas. We have amazing people. We have your Black Gods that are coming from Deep Slee, you know. And like, I don't think there's anyone who's doing justice to our content. And if we were to be honest, there's no established podcast that would want to give an ear to a domestic worker, you know, to a taxi driver, like we do. We've tried to have taxi drivers on board, but because of the industry, they don't want to come. But, yes, there's no established channel that would want to talk to a taxi driver or a street vendor, you know. No one wants to listen to a poor man. So we were like, let's be that podcast that talks to a poor man, and not only a poor man, but people who are inspiring to the other guys, like your black guy. He did it from the hood. He slept in number one. There's a child who's sleeping there who admires to be the next Miss South Africa, you know. And when they look at black God, they're like, he was sleeping here, he did it. So definitely there's a chance for me as well. And then, so back to the guy that I approached, because I approached that guy first, because I was very close with the guy. Like, hey, this is an idea that I have. But because I already had the structure of how the podcast should look like, I didn't want to be the only person talking to the person. I think two minds are better than one, you know. And then I talked to the guy, but my friend, because he's not a media
person,
he's not. He just wants to do other things, not media, you know. I'm like, oh, maybe we can utilize him, you know. You know, sometimes maybe we might need someone. T-boy, you know,
sprinkle there,
and then he can do something. And then I talked to him, and he's like, "Oh, cool." And then at the back of my mind, I always had Lalas. I'm like, "There's this guy that once asked me to work with him, so he has to return the favor."
Hey,
you know?
woman,
like
because now you were a little girl, they're busy.
Exactly, I was busy. There. I'm like, this guy needs to return a favor. So this also goes to. Sometimes when you do things, you never know, you know, what you're going to need in the future. Maybe tomorrow, Jack might have this big production company and he needs presenters to come do 1, 2, and 3. And because we've had him here, he can also call us again and be like, hey guys, come and do this. Even for free, you know, because we've been doing this, we haven't been any money as of yet, you understand? And with Lalas, we work along very well. And with the other guy, I think he got a bit jealous also because we get him outshine. Firstly, talent ayikho kuye ilaya. Manje ifocus yami ikuphi. And you know another problem is, I think this is a conversation that we had with Lalas, that you know, once you involve Mjolo in the stuff that you try to work on, that is cancer. That is, it ruins everything. Exactly. So the problem with the guy is, he had, you know, that male bestie that
on it, or male bestie who says, I know one day
you know, because this is the same guy that shared me, I think 2-3 years ago, and I said no, and he didn't talk to me for like 6 months. And then after he came back again,
that was deep.
He had, you know, and when he saw me talking to, he probably thought,
maybe you like me more than you like him.
That time it's not even like that, you understand? So I think that's where lies the problem. And we're like, this is an infant. We need to protect the space, you know. So if thorns are coming, we need to take out thorns.
Of course,
like we need. That's why even now it's only me and him. That's why he mentioned that he does the marketing, he does this, he does that, because we're trying to protect. This is still an infant baby, and we're trying to protect this baby because
everything we
might not be the one to see the proceeds of this, but there's a generation that's going to come and see the proceeds of
but now aren't you worried, because now you mentioned that this person you were close with, you know, more, and oh wow, I'm a thorn in this whole, I was a thorn.
Tell you what, we did the first episode, because when you tell people, that's also another thing, when you tell people, they think you're too ambitious, like, because I think when we did the first episode, a lot of people thought you know, it's so poor. Then we did the second one, then we did the third one, and then the fourth one.
Then people start even calling.
You
they
know?
want to be on.
He came back, he's like, can you please do this? And I told him straight, I'm like, bro, I respect you. There was a point where I loved you as my brother, but you didn't see me as a brother, as a sister. You know, you saw someone that could potentially be. No, let me not use that. You understand?
As he said, he saw potential from the beginning. So
so it doesn't work. The thorns, you gotta take them out.
I heard earlier she mentioned Uti ubulale number 1. I'm curious about that before I know who's Nkulunkulu Mnyama. What's happening kule number 1?
I think I would say number 1, it's typically more like any other township that has been shown on TV, like your Cape Town shacks, your Ekayelicha, your Soweto shacks. So it's that thing, Oguti, Maupuma, you need to jump over a drain.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
Kimi Kukum, everything it's happening, it's fast. Everything it's fast.
Imikuku yakho ihlanga
Yeah, like the conversation from next door, you could easily hear now they can hear. So there's no sort of privacy. Even though people try to create yards for themselves.
I once had someone esithi Alex uyakhona uvula umnyango unika umakhelwane uphinde uvule ifasteri unike
it's almost like that. In the morning Maki uvuke njani, we are just talking over what we call e-fence, but it's just maybe itrateli one. That's what actually separates the two.
You can do handshake from one.
You know, there's no private. And the funny thing, Corey, there's no privacy, but people manage to keep things secret.
Private.
You know, like someone would just go out as if we can get next door. It's crazy like that. And people wouldn't know. They know when now there's an evidence. We're like, so all along without malume, you know. But regardless of that, I would say there's also beautiful stories, because in Deep Slee we also have kids who become like your top students. And Mautia Bega, they coming from those shacks. We got kids who are doing well in sports, playing for under 17 when it comes to their trials. Like, we've got beautiful stories also. There's people who managed to be married, who met there. But I would just say it's typical. However, the dangers, or I would say the roughness of that kind of setup varies, you know, and that's what media is mostly after. So you will never see our top student in Deep Slee from a certain school on a headline and front page. No. Somewhere
That's true.
So that you don't even pay attention. But there's like Deep Slee band. Front page, showing some crazy image that would be like, I want to buy this newspaper. You know, but then Zotin, it's media, get to control perspectives of people.
I've experienced people who says, abangama artist that I knew when I was 3 years that I've got this in me. When did you know, Buti, this is who you are? I want to call it, that's who you are. Because I cannot keep it wena. Talent like or pure sakho.
Sure.
So when did you know that you have to do what you were called for in this world?
I think I've known later, and I wish I've known earlier. Maybe I would have been far, right? Because even from primary, arts and culture, I would excel, and the teacher would be like, yeah, you're good in this, you must consider it. But then it didn't make sense. Because by that time I was too ambitious. I want to be a pilot. I was there. I want to be a pilot. Then come high school, adolescent stage, I wasn't even doing anything art. Because the art and culture now, iphelile now. But then the thing, now when I trace back and reflect, everyone during art and culture wanted to be in my group. When they say group yourself in 5, someone will be like, I was like, okay, what is it? But then it didn't matter by that time. I just thought, I'm a cool guy. Everyone wants to work with me. I didn't think or actually, you know. But then you grade 10, 12, and I was just, academic wise focusing. I want to change my future. But I've always had love for anything artistic. I've always loved local things. Even with music, I love local music compared to international. Like anything artistic, I'm like, hey, I want to have this in my room. I wish I could buy this artistic, Then fast forward after matric, then gap year, I'm not doing anything. So I've joined an organization called LIDA. When I get there, that guy was like, in fact, you are old to be facilitated. How about you facilitate these kids? Like, okay. You're like, facilitate poetry, music, drama. That time I don't know anything. I was like, you know what? I'll just do whatever. And then I found myself doing things as if I was taught before. And I was doing the right things now when I reflect, because now I'm educated, I'm well trained, I'm professionally trained. I was like, wait, I was doing the actual thing, but I just didn't know what was I doing. And the kids loved me. The kids enjoyed my sessions. One day, a certain group came to ask for a space to use there. And I was like, okay, so on that day, all the kids, they went to sing. Now it's a choir thing. That group went to the other class to rehearse propaganda. Then I asked my colleague, Jeff, I was like, can I please go and see what those guys are doing? Then I just stood there by the corner and they were rehearsing. While they were rehearsing, there was like something like boiling inside me. I felt like I could say, let me jump in, you know. So they were rehearsing a play. And when they were rehearsing a play, that guy couldn't get directions. And then when I was seated, I was like, nah, man, what is it that is hard? Something just said, Eric Months. And they all turned. They were like, okay, yeah, Months, maybe I understand. Then I waited. That lady, she was brutal honest. She was like, unfortunately, Mfetu, you have to sit down. Who? When? What's your name? Now, from now on, take over. I was like, okay. Then I did for that day. Then we exchanged numbers. She called me. She was like, there's something in you, but I don't know if whether you want to ignite it or you want to sleep on it. If you're serious, Monday, come to the rehearsals. Number 2, come rehearse. I got there early. I was like, okay, this is that's how I was introduced into the theater. And now, funny enough, most of things that I was being taught, it was like, no, I know this. I know this from somewhere, but I don't know it from anywhere. Like everything was like, hey. So I think that's what I'm saying. I wish I have discovered this earlier. Yes, yeah, definitely.
So now, there's this thing, guys, that I think I discovered last year, and it affected me to a point where I had to talk to someone.
Sure.
But I was never black enough. And now, I'm not white enough. That thing, I never discovered that it really did something because I felt like me lose identity.
Yeah.
You know, lidada. Yeah, hey, no bomvana shame. Let's bomb shame. You Mariah, what how namali? Who says and then now I get to suburbs. Mangene storong bulisa. They always, you black. Oh, can't you kuruma or can't you teta? And now I think song is in the background of we are emakaya mhlambi. What makes you feel the touch of untomazana sikas?
I think with me, right, I'll start by saying this, where I work, right, it's very weird. Like, I think those people that they're coming from the suburbs and whatnot, like I said, when I walk into the room and I say, I'm from Deep Sloot, but my phone, you know, they start fixing their cell phones, and others go as far as, you know, making remarks. I remember there was this one time we were having lunch. Wow, that day, like, it messed up with me big time. So we're having lunch. So we do have canteen. It's a big organization. And then as we're having lunch, I think we all bought sticky wings and some salad. So as we're eating, oh my word, guys, I'm gonna cry when I say this. So as we were eating there, that guy, wow. So we're eating, there are flies everywhere. Flies are where there's food.
Yeah.
And then my co-worker said, these flies are coming from Deep Sloot.
You're the one came with the fly.
Yes, it's that day I didn't laugh. You know, when something, I'm always laughing, I laugh. But then when I don't find something funny, I don't laugh. It's more like someone who doesn't know me and say, oh, you are very short. You don't know me. We are not cool like that, you know? Yeah. You've never had a conversation with me like that. So what makes you think you're gonna say the stuff that you're saying now, you know? And even like just the recent incident when I dyed my hair blonde, when I walked to the office, like everyone is like, oh, Christmas tree, like people make remarks, and this is a 9 to 5, you know, it's corporate. I'm expected to be a certain way and dress up a certain way and all of that. So I think with me, like, for me to remember that this is where I come from, especially with the food, I mean, this is what I'm always eating. This is what, and trust and believe, every time when I go to that space, I remember that I'm from there, because they dare to remind me that I don't belong here. And I think it's good and bad. At some point, it brings back to the reality, you know. It brings back, it brings me to the touch with my own reality that actually this is where I come from and this is what, and I don't admire to be the smart black. I'm fine. Like, it's cool, you know. It's cool. And there will be times where I'll take my lunch to work and I'll be so embarrassed to just eat with the co-workers. You understand? I would wait until like everyone would go for their lunch, and then once everyone comes back, and then I go for mine. You know, like it's really isn't. Sometimes you do feel it, and there are people that I want to make sure that you feel it. And also, some of them are the smart blacks, the ones that are coming from there, but they made it out. You know, some of them probably, I wouldn't say they made it out, because if you made it out, then you take your entire family. Just because you took you and your wife, you left the kids, your mother is still there. When you go to see your mother, you go to the same house. The same house that you didn't renovate. When you go there, you are not happy, you can't even spend the night. So it's stuff like that.
That was deep. That was really deep. I'm going to ask the same question.
Okay. What gives me I feel I'm a Kasi guy or I'm from Kasi. In fact, nagetswari blessing. But this is what happened with me. I had a taste of Kasi before I came to Diepsloot.
Okay.
Right? So my dad would move. We've never stayed when I was still with my parents from 0 until 8 years. We've never stayed at one place for more than 2 years.
Okay.
You understand? My dad would move from here to there. I don't know, he was causing trouble or he just loved moving around. And there was a time we stayed at a kasi called Seshego. It's very dangerous now. Sure. And it's always like a set. When I'm in Diepsloot, I'm reminded of Seshego, how it was. Because the terrible things happened there. I've seen a lot of horrible things. So I understand. So the thing is, from there, then I stayed in the farms. Then from the farms, a village, which is like one step ahead from the farm. Sure. So a village, that's why I stayed from primary until I completed my high school. Then I came to Kasi. So I have this feeling in me, but part of me is like my dad. Because once my dad would move around, but once I feel like Kasi, Utiana go Aleda, Ufita, the village and other places. So since Diepsloot, when I go home, so the first time I want to make Kasi material, go high. Now, ever since I came here in 2016, I never went home and spent a month. I'd spend the longest was, I think, a week, but once. So most of the time I spent 3 days. And let me tell you, it's like one day. Because I'd go there in the night. Because I don't go home on Friday. I don't go home on Good Friday. I don't go home on December. I avoid being called Makaraba. Yeah. And everybody thinking that I came to change their lives. So I just I go in the middle of the month, in the middle of the year, in the middle of the week. So if I when you ask me, uzenini uhlangana nami ngithi ngihlala la musi. Since we stuck, it's a Good Friday. Since I stuck, but I wasn't there. So I would spend the first. I go home at night. The following day, I spend the day. I'm going out shopping. I'll go to whatever. And then the third day, I don't wanna be at home. I'm on my feet. I'm always like, where's my transport? What's happening? I'm that guy. I don't. So there's this thing in me when I'm there. No, I belong to Diepsloot. Life here is slow. I see as if even when people there, they are eating. I feel like they eat in slow motion. When they talk, I just see everything. So I love the life Yasikas. Like Pitizelo. Another thing that gives me a feeling if you walk with me in Diepsloot, chances are every street there's gonna be somebody. It's either young people are gonna say sir, or a car is going to hoot, or someone is gonna be lala. So always, when I walk, most of the time I'm late. You know, nowadays I'm late not because I left my place late. I'm late because everybody believes they deserve my time in Kasi. So in Kasi, I'm known in my Kasi. So when I go to other places, really, I don't really feel affected because I have a high self-esteem. I believe in myself. Even if I get to a place, I keep quiet and observe. But when it's my time to talk, you'd believe I come from anywhere on earth. Not Kasi. Kasi doesn't define me unless I'm wearing Kasi and cover.
And another thing that you should add on that, where you are recognizing as a gas, it's when you find at least you are pumula and you should take it with, okay, let me rest maybe nyana for an hour because lana abang pazami sebo.
Okay, for me I would say the authenticity that I carry around, right? So with me, it's the case of being truthful to myself. Or understand, in a sense of saying, even if I were to move or to be in a space around people that we identify as cheese boys, cheese girls, I would never try to fit in, or I would never tell a different story just to sound cool. Oh, my dad, I want to go lunch. No, I'll be saying, Barekisaka is part of me. Can I please have a place Barekisam Kota? I'm like, oh, we don't have Kota. Okay, and then I'll think of what is relative to Kota. It would be maybe a bag or something. Because, or maybe something, I know my stomach, it's not going to be growling and all that. I understand. So I'm truthful like that. And it's that thing of saying, when I get into a space, if I feel like I'm not comfortable, I usually excuse myself. If I don't feel like I fit into that, or there's nothing it resonates with me, or there's nothing I'm going to learn from that, I remove myself from that, because one, I know it's going to have unnecessary pressure. As much as I may try to block it, but it's just gonna affect me. My confidence is going to be shaken, my energy is going to go low. I'm going to feel like I'm caged. You understand? It also even applies even to workplaces. When I get to workplace, I'm a person who I have my own seat. Then I observe, read people's characters. I'm like, okay, this one I can spend days with. Something minana I understand I saw. And I think it's a matter of being authentic in my own space. That's what defines me. And I would never lie to say, I get to go deep salute, and you see, go the bonding. Even in schools, even in university, when I was still staying, go, they were like, so when I said, I get to go deep salute, when I go me kukun, daddy shuba. I don't know however you're gonna receive me and all that, because where I come from does not define me, and even our destiny, we don't know it how fair. Because there's someone who may grow up from well-doing family bonds and all that, then life hits, and then I fell cuckoo. Then someone might start going cuckoo, and then I fell into an 18-room house. So it's like that.
Anything for me understand, you know, at Casimos, there's this thing that people more than when niggas was. I don't know why it's that, but they will always know your story more than when. How do you avoid that when you being caught up in a situation where something how do you avoid not to explain yourself? It is what it is, because they would say things about me and I would want to defend myself. No, it's not like that, but it's tiring. How do you avoid that?
I think for me, it goes back to how I grew up, because I started school in Diepsloot. And then halfway through, I went back home because my grandmother retired. So she was going back to Venda. And then I went back to Venda to finish the remaining years of my schooling. So when I went home, everyone is like, oh, this child is wild. She's from the city. She's going to teach us. And also because I come from a family where it's only uncles, and they're my age, so I would be surrounded by guys. That's why even now you said, of course, the conversation that we had off record. Because I've always been surrounded by my uncles who are my age. So obviously, if I'm always seeing Lalis, and Lalis is a friend of my uncle, automatically I'm gonna connect with Lalis also as an uncle that he's friend with my uncle. Like the drill. So when I was at home, it went as far as the parents not wanting their kids to be friends with me, and I understood, it was fine. My grandmother would tell me, don't worry, just stay at home. There's no need. You have everything that you need at home, And I think that's why even now I struggle to have friends, especially female friends, because I've never been around them, And then went to high school, and then when I went, because every time there would be stuff that, she wouldn't make it to grade 10. she wouldn't make it to grade 12. And funny enough, I'm a late bloomer, you know, because they said those things, they stuck around. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to make my grandmother a laughing stock, you know. I don't want to prove these people right, you know. And when people talk about you, Ekasi, it's very weird because those things come back to you either way. If I say maybe your lashes are njan, you're gonna know eventually because you're njan, you know. Yeah. So for me, because I had those things from a young age, people saying those things about me from a young age, I didn't mind. Like, it's fine. I don't have to explain myself.
Yes.
If that's what you think about me, let it be like that. You don't know me, you know. And which is weird now. A lot of people don't know what's happening in my life, but they're assuming, you know, they're making assumptions. I remember when I was doing my second year university, there were rumors that I'm eating drugs. Sana, I've never, and in that 2 years, I hadn't been at home in Venda. Like I would just go from Val and go to Deep Salute, and there were rumors that, did you see her? She's so skinny, she's eating drugs, you know, varsity. Naruto felt like you know, such those things like those ones. So for me, I don't care what you say about me. I know myself. I know what I'm doing, and if there's anyone that matters, is my grandmother. You know, that woman, she'll tell me, don't worry, it's fine. You know, every time when maybe a friend or whoever who's old will come and be like, hey, ngomntana coming on fana lapha in. She'll be like, oh, I've had a lawyer, and when I come back home, she's like, it's fine. You know, what were you doing with the guy? I'm like, no, he's just a friend or whatever the explanation that I'm doing. It's like, just don't get pregnant. Don't get pregnant. Don't embarrass me in front of my enemies. You know that. Don't do that. You know. And those words stick around. Like every time when there was something being said about me, she would be the first one to tell me they do not matter. If you take it in within you, imagine if people were saying, I'm smoking drugs, and then I start smoking drugs because people are saying I'm smoking drugs. Where would I be right now?
Might as well.
Exactly. You know, for them to say, hey, if I were to do those things, where would I be now? You know, where would I be now? And it's fine. What you think of me is not, that doesn't mean that I'm that. If you think I'm the bad person, doesn't make me the bad person. If that's what you think, it's fine, honey. You go your way, I go my way.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Kasi, it's a very broad thing to say, but most of the people who might say some stuff, who know a lot about you more than you know about yourself. It's either the people you are work related with, or the people that you chill with in the corner, or the family, or that very same street, your more immediate environment. So I would say that with me, some of I think there are 3 aspects of my life in Kasi where people think they know a lot. It's number 1, it's in art. Number 2, it's in Mjolo. Number 3, it's about lifestyle. So I'll start with the art. Because of the influence, but before I go there, I'm saying, before everything, I'm a motivational speaker. So I record things. I'm a video, and then I talk. Vampija ngwanamma. So ke phela ke re theeletša ngwana mma a gona motho wa ka re go dilo tša ge di tsamaya botsanya ka go senyetša letšatši. Only the sad people wants to see you sad. If o ka tlogela o lebelela gore batho ba reng ka wena o tlo wina. The hashtag is by fire by force. So what happens is this: in art space, a lot of people feel intimidated because naga push your sister. I don't wait for radio to, and if even the jobs, I tell people that in 8 years after my matric, I had already worked with 8 companies. It's like every year I work for one company. I change a company. No, sometimes I work with 2 companies at the same time. But also I don't stay long at the company because I know my potential is way always beyond what I'm doing. If being here and talking to you, you think it's my passion, wait until I'm the one owning the studio. So what happens is that with me, I know there's nobody who can say a bad thing about me while they are better than me. It's always the people who feel intimidated. At work, people were talking bad about me because they felt like I'm after their position, while they had the qualification and I didn't have. So it's a good thing about me, because which means I'm better than them, even if they wasted their years in varsity, because I can still, they feel like I can do what they do better.
Lalas, as a graduate, wasted is not the word. Please.
No, I do. Now I know you're graduating. I'm not talking about you. No. Wait, it's not about you. Then.
No, before you carry on, like never, ever. I don't like it when someone says you wasted. No, I didn't. That was hard work. Someone had to study. They had to sit nights of sacrifice. That it's not wasted.
So now here's my comment. Understand me and understand me clearly. You are jumping into me while I'm talking. So what's happening? If you feel intimidated and you feel like I can do more than what you went to me it's a waste. To you it is what it is. To me it's a waste. You shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't feel like I'm after what you do, while you know very well that you've worked hard. As you say, you've worked hard. So why you feel intimidated by me? You shouldn't. So if you feel intimidated, it's a waste. But if you know what you're doing and you have no problem with me, much respect to that. That's in a way in art space and at workplace. So I understand. Some people also misunderstand that I'm an artist. They think I'm a gatekeeper. You gate. You understand? A lot of people be like, because last time I went to the hip hop session, a certain guy be like, there's so much talent in Kasi and people are overlooking it. He's like, yeah, and in you agencies, I said, sorry. It's like I said, I'm not an agent. I'm an artist like you. It's just that I have more influence. I worked so hard until you think I'm the one making everything happen.
Until they cook a beef out of chicken.
Sure.
So that's what happens. So people get to think, or maybe I have higher connections in art and culture, have higher connections with the radio. No, it's because I don't write to radio. I go to radio. I don't write to them and say, can I please have interview? I knock there and say, there's my place in here. If I want them to play me, I go to them. Even the jobs I've been working, I only went 2 interviews out of those 8 jobs. All of them, I didn't go to interview. I just went there and be like, I have the skills that I can contribute to make this environment a better place. And I know that I'm going to take you a step further. And I know when I'm leaving. The company I'm working for now, the charity that Action Break Silence, when I left, dude, I had to call 2 people to replace me. The company said, you bring us someone like you. But even those 2 people were not enough. I'm back there and I still get the same respect. And they know, because I know my potential, as I told you about the confidence. You understand? So in terms of strategy, if you say something about me that I don't know about, it means it bothers you more than it bothers me. It's my problem, but now, thank you for taking it upon yourself and carrying it. Because once you carry it and say, Lalas is doing this, it's no longer my problem. It's yours. It's stressing you. I'm sleeping at night. The only thing that would stress me in life is money. If I don't have money, I'm sick. Even if I get sick, I go to hospital. Come give me money, you'll see how quick I'm going to recover. Tomorrow I'm good.
I love it. This is for you.
All right. So with me, I would say in the beginning, it used to affect me. I used to suffer a lot from abantu bazothini. But then when I was growing up, I realized already, like he said, you can't, there will be this extension, there will be this extension. But then I came to realize, man, like I said, like originally I was staying go extension 11, then I realized, those people every day, every morning, they've got stories to tell.
Of course.
You know, there's assumptions. When I little gundwa and like shoe in the morning, I'm like, Maki, where's really infernal? Then I was like, how did you see infernal? Were you out there looking at that infernal jumping? Why would you even assume? And they would even create story like, ihambe ibambe chain.
yeah.
Like,
I know that one as well.
you know, and then it got to me. I was like, hey, actually people from Kokasi everywhere, they've got something to say about anything. And wakralori innocently, it was just ikundwan. If infan maybe there, you just trying to tell us what you lost your infan, it was out of control or something like that. So from then I realized that actually what people say about me, and they are not saying it to me, it doesn't matter anymore because everyone can be creative. One thing also that I know, mostly I would say 80% of people bakokas, they don't have anything to do. Instead they become creative and they entertain themselves, right? Secondly, I've realized most of batubale nkokasi, we are there because of different reasons, but I would say majority is people who have lost hope. Majority is people who are comfortable in uncomfortable environments. You understand? So it's a matter of who do you think you are wena? If ipaletzen namalumia ha wena umangu kai khona. Why understand? There's jealous, like you said, or they think everything hoitoma is umlilo amaphepha. You understand? So it's like kasi, it's toxic, and I'm aware of that, and I've told myself I'm not gonna fall for your toxicness. If I feel like I wanna buy a box of pizza and walk with it, so I'm gonna do that. And one thing that I know, from that street to that one, you'll be like,
veil.
No, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. The following day, umbona ngidlula makwe, yes, bonile mali pizza man. Still, I'm not doing it. It's because I'm craving for makwe that day. So, but Bakokasi, I've realized most of them, they are comfortable in playing poor, and they enjoying poor more than exploring the world. Hence, some people, they get to be depressed. If for now, for example, if life gets to be nice to me and they be like, bah, here's $1 million for you, then I'm like, wait, let me move out to the suburbs. I'm a human being, I do make mistakes. Then I blow it. Coming back from Kokas, it's gonna cause you depression, not because of you blew the man, but the people will make you to be mentally ill. Understand? Now here's the question. You get $1 million, you go to suburbs, following week you die. Are they going to say anything? No, you didn't get to. So the money is there for you to spend, but people don't look at it that way. They be like, so kasi it's toxic. So now one thing that I've realized, and I think this is my coping mechanism, I'm like, I'm doing it for myself, not for you. So what you are thinking, I am not responsible for that. If you think I'm a good guy or I'm a bad guy, still you're right. I'm like, sure. You're right. Hey, ngizwile bathu wena uwenzani noSibanibani? Sure, wena utheni? What did you say? Mina bengivele ngimamela. Sharp, keep on listening. I'm just like that.
I love that. I'm
just like that.
Bahlala besisho vele ukuthi even if sometimes bakhuluma into eqiniso ngayo, sifocusa kuwe today, kusasa sikhohliwe, sesifocusa ngoli. You understand? There's this say that it's an assumption. It's a mother of all fuck ups.
True.
Sure.
Because now you fuck up and come back and say, So I think sonke si experience le. So now I wanted to ask those questions in a personal level. Now I'm gonna open this one as a discussion. You're not compelled to answer. Kungani thina abantu basekasi sibazi abantu abadayisa ama drugs sithula ngale nto leyo, but we are vocal about isizwe sethu siyaphela nkosi yami. Hey hayi baqedile inyawo, but we're not reporting, we're not saying anything about it, there's nothing that we're doing. Kodwa siyazi ukuthi uli uthengisa ama drugs. What makes us to be quiet about it? Kodwa siyabona ukuthi siyaphela leyo yona ayisivocal ngayo, and siyantshontshela senzani yini into enza ukuthi sikwe community of manithi si eblockini e1 si 5000 uyedwa lo muntu oyidayisayo lento yini into esihlulayo thina si 4999 to overpower that one person.
I think first things first, right? As much as smazi njengomphakathi namaphoyisa bayazi. You know? And if I'm going to the policeman to say Lalas is selling drugs, already the policemen are eating from what Lalas is making. So I'm effing up with their bread. And when you F up with people's bread, they're gonna come and F you up.
Yeah. And also,
how are they gonna F us up? Usma City 4,999.
Yeah.
Kumuntu oyedwa. Bazosiqeda yini?
Let me tell you.
I think also, sorry to jump in, the hierarchy of power. The person who's actually selling those drugs, it's not me on the lower food chain. It's that one at the top using me.
True.
And they will all come for you.
Yes.
For me, Mina Manga.
So, and everything, it goes back to how our economy is standing like at the moment. Because, I'm saying this based on having to compare our country and the country that I've been to and the stories I've heard about other countries. Here in South Africa, it's easy to smuggle something in because why? Our security, our police system, it's underpaid. So if I can offer you something that is equivalent to your annual amount, you will be tempted. But if I was paying you enough and I come, I'm like, can you please? They'll be like, understand? Simple security people. Even in varsity, they'll say no visitors are allowed to sleep over. My G, 20 rand.
Sure.
Then
Transport
they are overlooking the fact of saying I could smuggle you in. Nothing bad happens. We know, for example, in life we die differently. You're just there with me. Then it happens that maybe it's your last day. One, you are not staying there. Two, I'll be in trouble. Three, security, where were you when this, but then we ignore that. So caucus is the thing of saying also the fear of being permanently silenced. We know them, but I know once you say something, it's done, it's chai. Because the person you're going to report to will report to the person they're eating from. And these are the people who are running us, like the government and all that. So the politicians are at the top of these things.
Now I had 3 different incidents with regards to that, and maybe I might be held accountable for some of these things because I'm an activist and work to the organization that tries to eradicate such issues. But let me tell you my first experience that I had, and I was like, it doesn't help. I was staying at Station 8. So I was walking down. There's this group of guys that were always at my street. The other day they even be like, ngamshaya lo mjita lo. Kyabalibelethi bafana bakera abawini abangamgwaza bangathi bangangishaya bakhuluma iqiniso. Yabo. So those guys akifihla the other day when I'm coming down there towards them, the police van is coming down there. And that was before the dacha was decriminalized. And then they are busy rolling. And then the other one said, majita maha, that's balege. And the other one at, labo ba deliver insango bulumjita lapha ikoni. Yeah. And then Lamapoisa Valley, they pass them because they are the customers of the guy that they bought from. And then they are going to that place. So they know that their own dacha is delivered by the police. The second incident, there are some guys that gamble on the street. I've once found them with the police guy. The police parked the van. He's there with them. They are having a casual talk by a chair. You understand? So if these guys can rob me, am I gonna tell the police? What if I'm telling The third incident, I was at Station 3. We were just seated on a table like this. Somebody just came and randomly shot people. Shot 3 guys. And when I follow up on the story, what's happening? Why? And they'll be like, oh, is that guy? He's from the prison. This guy's reported him that he's selling drugs. And then he's back. He's paying his revenge. You understand? Number one, you came from jail today. You already have the gun. And somebody wrote on there was a time there were gunshots at the bridge at Station 2. That's next to the police station. Somebody was just joking in the group and be like, no, guys, don't be scared. It's me. I was testing the gun that I bought from the police station. No, but as much as he was joking, when we look at these documentaries of Inkabi, there's Inkabi that said, I buy my bullets from the police station.
Exactly.
There are 2 guys that I know from being dangerous in Kasi. And those guys, I've seen them with the police. 4, 5 police vans. With those guys, I even thought, no, these guys are doing Stockfell together. It looked like they were discussing business, they were laughing.
Yeah.
They've spent hours. You call from Deep Sloot, from Umkukuako and be like, yeah, there's an incident. I reported 2 incidents. They told me, first time, the van was not there. The second time they said we are coming, they never came. And there was a gang fight at my gate. You understand? So my reason for not reporting anyone who's selling illegal what, trust me, I'm not afraid of those guys. I'm afraid of the police.
Yay!
And I think another thing is how these guys kill. They do it in a way they instill fear within everyone.
Yeah.
For example,
During the day.
For example,
You will never. By a set example, good naksasa.
which go at Tabang.
Don't.
In Deep Sloot, we've seen a lot of people being shot like this in
I
front
think
of us.
it also goes back to that thing of saying what would make them to behave that way.
True. The
You know,
root cause.
here in South Africa itself, if you want to ship something from one place to another, have a police person and say, ship this in your van. They will never stop a van. Whatever. Even according to me right now, I've never seen that, but I believe also even human trafficking, it's been done through police.
Yes.
Ibile,
I believe that.
let's make it very easy in a relatable way that everyone will understand. Casper has a song from his recent album where he was featuring all those guys. There's a line where he says, "Di mane ke tla mohlaba ka koni and bogata ba fitla ke tla ba hlaba ka kholi." Then there's another one, a verse by Nasty C on the song Anali aka where always at a country like Amazai, no SAPS, cold drink, high five. We gave bribe a name that it's a cold drink. And I think I was telling you, Kiri, ukile wana cold drink ya 5,000 because sometimes we bribe them with that amount. So like they just made it. So now everyone knows that I will come back. I'll go there. I'll pay cold drinks.
It's normal.
I will come back.
I remember there was a time, I think probably 2 or 1 year ago in the Eastern Cape, there was a certain area where they were striking because the license department increased the bribe money.
Bribe.
They're not even shy.
But even now, when you are driving, you don't look for license when you see them. You look if you have 20 rand. License is not the first option.
Like we laugh about these things, but it's fun. Look even in crèche, the songs that they teach our kids. My Bodisa.
Yeah, now.
So the kids, they know when we
they're groomed.
we are good friends with police. Okay, I know now the police person loves money. I just have money, and then we'll be good friends.
It's not us who going to solve those. So as you see the 3 of us who are seated here, the only way is just to raise awareness through our art. And we're not gonna change the whole police station. It could be one policeman who listen and be like, but this is wrong, I'm killing my people, let me stop. I'm not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop his colleagues, but at least enough for himself, not to add to the number. That's all we hoping, just to change every time. We can't.
It is unfortunate now. I've heard this from someone to say now, even in that police force industry, if you are not doing what they are doing, they get to make sure either they're gonna put you in traps where you get stripped off, or they're gonna kill you themselves, because you are more of like a snitch to them. So you are forced, or even you as Lalas, you are like, okay, I'm changed, I'm not gonna take bribes, and I'm being paired with you. And then you take bribes, and I'm like, nah, give back. This one is gonna report me to others to say, I'm trying to find a no buy.
Yeah, that's true. I hear what you're
get rid
saying.
of him.
Exactly.
Then they will depend
In politics, in police, every time you try to do the right thing, somebody immediately, with immediate effect, is starting to search anything bad about you. So,
And then they will use that against you. That's
Against
what
you.
blackmail.
Yeah.
I hear you. About my friend, guys, there are these trends now that they're disturbing me with social platforms. Amanzi, they take them from the toilets. they say they selling purified water and everything. And we have, about my friend, every corner of Amakaswet. What should we do about it? Because we're exposing our kids to these products that are slowly killing us.
Let me tell you, there's an incident that I've seen somewhere, for my safety. But so I'm just gonna put all my friends. I don't know if I'm being fair, but we have my friend. We have those street vendors. Right?
Yes,
the ones that are selling by the street, your veggies, your whatnot and whatnot. In our communities, we have our own leaders, right? Because firstly, those people are undocumented. They live in our communities with fear because there's those immigration cars that can come and take them at any time. And our leaders know of the people that are not documented, that are in the country illegally, right? And we have those people that, some of those leaders whom they go to those people, there's this money that I would call it
food,
exactly. Because I remember there was a time where, right, just where I stay, the guys, they were complaining, saying, this person, I must say the name.
Yeah, don't say that.
This person is always coming here to take money, weekly. Sometimes they can just decide on a day that I'm just going to collect something, and when they explain why would they do that, and we don't have the papers, and these people know that we are here illegally, and they instill the fear within them. They take advantage. You understand? So which is it's either you take someone back home and then they go fix their documents and then they come back and then they live here freely. It's not nice.
So now what I want to know is, as much as they know, as those people that bahlelilana illegally, so should we advise our people? Because remember, us afford, and Mina growing up, we had Ispaza shop that were normal. We knew maybe SAPs or drop a cold drink. You see now it's a legal what you call it?
Supermarket.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now we have these people. Should we advise our people? They should stop buying there. When you 100 rand and then we get dropping food, finally spend 30 rand, 100 rand. What should we tell our people? Because we all know that these people are selling is in this room. No move the culture in corner. Sometimes it reacts somehow.
Like he said, economy. My friend, because he knows
we are going
I can't do that at any other big superstore, because of the economy. There's no money. I could go there and be like, I'm share boy, give me tin fish or whatever the case may be, and I can go cook. But I can't do that at any other shop. You understand? So it goes back to the economy that we live in.
My friend, and buying something, just know I'm really desperate.
You can afford.
I'm really desperate in terms of it's either I need it urgently. Now I always go to them. Look, man, they affect the bigger economy. Yes, they save our immediate economy, Minanawe, but they affect the bigger ones. And also, but one thing that I don't like about them, I don't really have much problem with how they run business. I mean, if our president allowed them, our councillors allowed them, the Abu Masten, they allowed them Ugutiba bege shop wherever.
Because you need that money.
They need that. You understand? I don't have a problem. My only problem, those people are not here to play, and it's a warning. They are taking over your government one day. Because now look at how they treat your child when you send your child to Abu, my friend, to go and buy something. I've encountered this twice and I realized, no, this is a serious. They call your kid a stupid, mpara, a fool, like child, or no, you gave me 2 rent, ne? I need 2 rent for 1 rent. Ezu 2. Agafuni, 2 rent. You want 2 1 rent. Yeah, I gave you your change. You stupid. Your mom. I reprimanded twice. The first time I was alone. The second time I was with Lee. We went to buy cold drink. And I didn't even enjoy that because I know what the word stupid. So they already feel like when they came here. The blankets, they were so humble, those people.
And now that they have associations.
They do.
Because now, if when you are a Somalian, if you're not within their association, they come to you and tell you that you're not You're not one of we give you 3 days to remove your stuff here because you're not part of us.
It's worse than what we actually see. So like Lee has said, we need to revisit the structure of our economy and make sure that our economy benefits its own people. Just like on I think it's a Bill of Rights, they say everyone could have the land and everyone has the right to work on it. Right? But everything, it needs to be structured from the top.
We can't do anything.
Now we say everyone should be documented in. There's still corruption at Home Affairs. Someone is going to take this. If we say, okay, my friend must have a certificate of trade in, and what they're gonna do corruption and buy those certificates because that's how they eat. But however, I think it's just a matter of, I think we are now we are at the beginning of a revolution of exposing Abo, my friend, and all that, right? But then also we need to know, okay, after we get rid or we eradicate this thing that has been done with my friend, how do we revive Kasi economy? Do we have a plan for that? Understand? Because also remember, we as people, and I think that's the loophole of my friend. So, Reina, in my times, I grew up at times where there was Guamangumalo shop, Guamangumalo spaza shop. But Guamangumalo wouldn't give me a tin fish if I had R1. And my friend was like, wait. And Umangumalo always expected to make a profit at 300 a day. My friend doesn't mind, even if on that day he only sold for 50 and he's patient enough. So black people should be also taught when it comes to business. When it comes to farming, you don't chala today and reap today. We need to be taught patient when it comes to the economy. However, these people are poisoning our country. And we are ignorant to that, and we keep on saying, I don't know who was I having this conversation with. I was like, have you realized how addictive this certain fizzy drink is?
I know.
I was like, it's so addictive. Like in a day I could drink 2 of them. And I was like, yeah, it slaps. And I was like, yeah. But I was like, but have you seen a branded truck of this one standing here?
They used to.
Even this famous name breads. I've never seen
they
bakery.
They don't anymore.
But these people have this kind of bread. Where does it come from?
They make.
Understand?
And they make nice, fast, my friend.
It's been proven, guys, through the socials, how they make these things.
Exactly. And now, because our government are protecting these people, when we say, guys, we need to stand up and protest against this such movement, they pull a thing of, you are xenophobic.
Yeah, of course.
Where the NGOs
how am I xenophobic if I'm protesting against someone who's
killing our future?
Illegally, even in our country, I have the right to be xenophobic because I don't recognize you. Our system does not recognize you being present. Then they'll say, no, they always pull the card of, back then we used to go to their side in exiling. And now to your pagan, there's no difference. You mentioned Tabayama Pai, how they were humble. Those ones were not our my friend. Those were the real Indians. Now we've got the Somalians. And even Indians today are not even powerful. They have been overpowered. From Gokas, we know, Extension 3, who's now staying in those ponds. It's no longer our black people. It's them. We even call it a small Somalia. So these people, they make enough money to get license, to get bonds out. Someone who has been staying in Deep Blue does not even have that much
RDP even.
Once they're stable, then they transport their wife to the side. If you go to Extension 3, it's them. They have their own restaurants, clothing shops, their own churches. And you're like, you are from Somalia. How did you have the land? Me, I don't even have a penny of land in my
Try to book a wall in Deep Sloot for art. You
even have
it's
weapons.
hard.
How did the weapons get in?
During protests of whatever, let's say it's service delivery, so people use that sometimes to loot. Those guys retaliate. They'll take out guns and they'll be like, you can't. And people are like, hey, okay.
And that's how powerful they are now.
You just see them they are protecting their territory. And it's so
territory. Imagine in 5 years' time.
Their territory in your own place.
Exactly.
And Tanganani, I heard at that because I was making research about the bonds. I'm like, maybe in the next 3-4 years, I want to buy a bond in Tanganani. And someone been like, bruh, now it's very tricky because now it's actually more open for Somalians than us. And I'm like, so you're saying you're going to prioritize those guys over me?
You know why? Because if the Somalian get there and they like give us 500k now, you don't have it.
Yeah, money.
The Somalian guy
Money
has
talks,
it.
bullshit walks. Do you think we should vote, guys?
Definitely.
Yeah. We are voting.
Definitely.
We are voting for no reason.
Definitely.
I'm voting.
Okay, Mina.
There's a tagline when they say vote for change, but to me it's always that thing of saying what change?
What?
What's gonna change?
I don't vote for change myself. I'm voting just because they set a right number one, and I'm just hoping that a number of people might be wanting a change like I do personally, because I do want a change. So I'm just gonna look. Actually, I've already looked. At the moment, I'm neutral on all the political parties. Sure. If this one calls me and Lala say, come and perform or do this type of advert for us, I go. I don't care. Whether you are ANC, that's been, you are EFF, you are TA, I'm going. But
you're supposed to be
neutral. But when that day comes, I'm going with any political party that talks my language, that wants to eradicate the issues that I see them affecting my channel of industry and also my safety where I'm staying. If you talk that, whether you're going to do it, I'll just give you a chance. Yeah, whether you're going to do it or not. But if you are talking that, you might,
I think
you might get missold.
For me, voting, firstly, it means a lot, you know, that's a democracy. What do they call it? Democratic democratic right. Yes, firstly, because bearing in mind where our people come from, you know, because I'd always hear stories from my grandmother. She lived through that era, you know. Firstly, I vote to honor that whole thing. But another thing is, for me right now, where we at as our country, I feel as if though South Africa needs a dictator. You know, we need someone who's gonna tell us drink water now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You know, I saw this video. Right. There's a black lady who said apartheid should be back.
You know, I think we need like some sort of. I always tell this one that I love. I don't know if I should say it, but I love Robert Mugabe, you know. Yes, I don't like what he was doing, the brutality, you know, that he was doing to his
own the alignment.
People, but the dictatorship, man. Like
like the Equalizer movie, Equilibrium movie.
No, I'm saying this is we need that kind of leadership in our country, you know. We don't need this freedom. We have too much of it. We don't know what to do with it, you know. It's too much. It's overwhelming us. We need dictatorship. So for me, when I'm going to vote for what speaks close to dictatorship. You know, and I know the ruling party doesn't talk dictatorship. We've seen what the ruling party has done, and it's not because the ruling party can't do good for its own people. They are capable, those guys, but. Let me not start with it's fine, exactly. So me, I want something that is closer to dictatorship. I voted before, and I'm glad that the party that I voted for, they've got like a few more seats in the parliament. Because even now, when I'm going to vote, the party that it's closer to dictatorship doesn't really stand the chance of getting 50%, but. If it can be the
gradually, maybe it can. Patience and as you said,
50%. No.
Maybe they're gonna get 49, and then 1%.
Not even the ruling party is gonna get. I don't think even the ruling party is gonna get 50%. Honestly.
Yeah, it won't. Not this time.
Not gonna get that.
No dollars will be like.
I don't think they're gonna get that. You see, so if this one can gather, for me, it's. If we are seated here and you are pink, you are yellow, I'm black, he's green. You know, we're not gonna do it the green way. If the green way, tomorrow the green way, we're gonna have to consolidate. Today we are doing it the black way. Tomorrow we're doing, and if today we did it the green way, then it means the pink way is gonna want us to account. You know, for me it's accountability. I feel like there's too much freedom. Like we lack accountability.
True.
We can't hold each other accountable. We can't hold the uncle that rapes the young girl in the family accountable. How are we supposed to hold the counselor accountable? You're not even holding your father that did 1, 2, and 3, 2, and your cousin accountable. But you wanna hold a whole counselor accountable? Let's start within our homes.
Yeah.
Danko.
So with me, I know what I'm going to say. It's crazy and it looks like it's imaginary or it only exists in movies. The only time, and I'm not even shying it away, I'm not gonna vote now because I don't see any political party that has potential for me to vote.
Touch my blood.
The only time I am going to vote,
I don't like it.
it's what our people did to the apartheid system. If our people could do that to the ruling party now or to the ruling government, if they can do what they did to the apartheid system and restructure, that's when I can consider voting. Because that's the only way to taking out a thorn. That's the only way. But this thing of ballot papers, it's not gonna work. Right?
Corruption is nayo.
Yes, and also I've seen we are kind of going there, but now it's starting with the currency. They wanna build one currency for the BRICS thing, for us to have that thing. But if we apply that into politics, people might start being accountable. Let's stop having these political parties. Let's have a one government. If from a red political party, we put you as a deputy president of the country, you from a green what you are the treasurer, you from a, no one is going to do bukhiri in their thing, and there's no going to be competition because we know that you are representing this party and you are representing everyone. Because this thing of political parties, that's the one that is causing a lot of complication and competition, and that thing of saying when something hits the fan, everyone says nope, it's not us.
It's not us.
Why
We are not the
need
ones
to have
in control.
this hierarchy of something. We need to know, okay, if something is not going on. For example, we have been shouting this as artists. Please put someone on that chair on arts and culture, someone who knows this. You know, even our Grootmans in the industry before they have said this, or stop putting someone who doesn't understand what art and culture is. You know, there's one Grootman that I look up to in this industry and said, these people still assume arts and culture is those kids wearing the Zulu skirts and beads and just
True. In department, that's what they think of us.
Hence, even look at level where they're taking the money. They're taking the money to things that don't even matter. We had a COVID. People couldn't get the reliefs and what. Boom, someone wants to invest 200 something on a flag.
That was crazy.
People are losing, cars are being repossessed, but you take 200 million for a flag. For what? Wrong understand? So for me, until we do what they did to the apartheid system, that's when I'm going to consider voting. But for
That's
now,
what she said.
for now, I'm going with the flow.
There's a leader.
When you
There's
say
a leader.
left, let's
There's
go
a leader.
left.
I think he's Eddie Koshi something who said, if Musho
Say it the way you understand it.
He said, "Oh my word!"
Don't try to quote.
It was gonna sound nicer when I would quote him. He said, "If Lee do you what apartheid did to you, then do Lee what apartheid did to." I'm mixing it up. Yes, something like that. But he spoke it in insipid. I think he's Hoshi something.
So it's like that. If when you did something for you to be in power today, and you are not doing nice what you're fighting for, I should do you what you did to them.
And another thing that I noticed with our political parties, right? They come and they're like, yeah, black. They're afraid of standing up for black people. If you're standing up for black people, stand up for black people.
Behind this ones. Behind them, there's this ones.
Yeah.
The money they have, it's from this
of
ones.
course.
And the political parties of these ones, they stand up for their people. They're not scared.
They're not
Any
scared.
day.
So what happens, you can even see with the way of campaigning recently. It's no longer about what they will do. This party will be saying this party is doing this. When you go into media, this one said this about that one.
No, but
instead of
have their
looking at those. Yeah, exactly. But their campaigning shows that they don't really have interest in what's best for their people.
Sure.
But it's all about who's gonna eat, who's gonna be this, who's gonna be that.
No, but on like they do have their manifestos, each political party.
Yeah, I know that.
And if you can read, you can see, okay, this doesn't resonate, this does resonate.
And which one you go with?
It's more like a relationship. You can't find someone that's perfect. You just
Yeah.
see, okay, I think
I can live with this. I can live. Yeah. So guys, are you open to sponsors?
Definitely.
And then we share
Am I
my
open
platform
to?
sponsorships in anything, your by ambassador or anything. Are you open to that? And we share my platforms work.
Okay, yes, I do. I do want to be a brand ambassador of things that I think resonates with me.
Okay.
Yes, definitely for that. And my handles on Instagram, which I'm hardly there, but I'll be there soon. I think it's m_blackgod, and on Facebook it's Jack Blackgod. Twitter, I'm not there. Twitter is toxic for me.
Yes. Siyabonga. Madam.
Well, definitely. You can catch us on at Kasian Cover, as you can see. Kasian Cover. So on YouTube it's Kasian Cover, right? This is where you get to see our channels, our shows. Sorry, we have Kasian Cover podcast, we have Kasian Cover callouts, and we have your number one fan that is coming out very soon. And our social media handles, it's at Kasian Cover on Instagram, it's at Kasian Cover on it's TikTok, and then it's Kasian Cover on Facebook. And with me, it's Lee My Sunflower. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm back. And yeah, that's all.
Okay, because of Sega Kave, the podcast. Sega Ishilo
Yeah. Kasian Cover, she already said, we do open to do adverts for companies. You understand, to mostly any company that you feel like we feel like value on it's what we push, even if it's not, but it brings money for us to push what we think we want to push. As for Lala's Kolo, now at the moment the only thing is just the PR thing. I know how to do PR, but I don't have the means of PR. So I would work with any PR that is interested to actually collaborate the skills, knowledge with me, so that we go and make money together, not necessarily looking for budget, but the mindset that can make that budget. So on social media, I'm at Lala's Kolo. Whether you type it from Google straight or you type it from any social media platform, it's always LALAS space KHOLO.
Amako, the last question, Sizovala. What do you guys want to be remembered for?
The signature I leave behind in the art space. I want to replicate myself in someone. That's what I want to get.
Funutungela.
Yes.
I love it.
What do you say after that? For me, I would love to be remembered as someone who did justice to the Black stories. Someone who told my people's stories the way they're supposed to be told.
With no photocopy, with no copy, authenticity, no filter.
No, nothing. Just know the real stories, It might not work today, but it's gonna work. It's gonna be my grandchild's homework in the next 100 years.
That is why it's uncovered.
Yes.
Okay. Mina, number one, I want people, when they count 5 best artists in this country or in this continent or on this planet, you don't reach number 5 before you count me. I want when you say, for the likes of Eminem, like Davido, Lalas, before you get to others, I want to be mentioned within the 5. Then I would feel like I made justice to my talent and I respected God with the talent that I got from God. Number 2, I want a child who doesn't have parents, who doesn't know how parents' love feels like. One day read about my story or watch one of the podcasts where I was interviewed and say, actually, there are some kids who have parents but who don't deserve parents by how they disrespect their parents. And there are some children that don't have parents and deserve to have parents. And a parent is any adult that can give you a sound advice that will push you to say the absence of parents is not the absence of life, success, and progress. I want a child to remember that even when you don't have a parent like Lalas, you can still make the greatest things on earth. That's all.
Yo, okay, before Nkale ndiyabulela kakhulu. Unscramble Life with Slee here. Tibulela Black God. Tibulela Uli, Tibulela Ulalas. Guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. I was so curious and you covered many things. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment ku Unscramble Life with Slee. Nakubo kenjalo njengoba bebechula ama-handles wabo. Please go and find out about them. Bulela kakhulu ithi makube xosi kubehele. Amago.